As always, before I cook with catfish, I'm going to soak it in salt water. But this time, I'm leaving the fillet whole. So I'm going to soak it in a Ziploc bag. I'm going to set this aside and let it soak in this salt water for about 30 minutes. Now I'm going to take this catfish out of the salt water and dry it out. I don't know who in the hell filleted this fish. You see that? Amateurs. In this video, I'm going to show y'all how to make Catfish Allison. It's the signature recipe of Chef Evelyn Roten, owner of the Crown Restaurant in Indianola, Mississippi, the birthplace of blues. You want to start with a fillet of catfish that you've taken out of salt water and dried out. For one fillet, I'm only using a tablespoon of softened butter. I'm going to add to it a little bit of mayonnaise. A little bit of Worcestershire. A dash of black pepper. I like smoked paprika. And I'm going to add to that just the slightest pinch of cayenne pepper. The recipe calls for hot sauce, but I don't do hot sauce. It's always just too hot. But doing it this way, I can control the amount of heat I have in the fish. This recipe is really rich, and it benefits from the addition of just a little bit of cayenne pepper. Now I'm going to mash this up and mix it together. Now I'm going to add grated Parmesan, just 2 tablespoons for one fillet. I got some chopped scallions here. You really only need 1 scallion for this, but you have to buy a bunch of them, so I'm using 3. I really like the extra onion flavor it gives to the dish. Now if you notice, I didn't add salt. I'm on a low sodium diet, And the Parmesan cheese and the mayonnaise and the Worcestershire sauce has plenty of salt in it. Plus I soaked the fish in salt. I don't need any extra salt. I'm using a pie plate because I don't have a square casserole dish with me. And I've lined it with aluminum foil to make it easier to clean. And I've sprayed it with cooking spray. And I'm going to put it in the oven and preheat my oven on 350 for 10 minutes with the plate inside the oven. Now I'm going to take this catfish and lay it into the hot pan. And it's going to start cooking this fish a little bit. And when I put this fish in this pan, I'm going to turn these end pieces under just a little bit because they're going to cook faster than the rest of it. I want this fish evenly cooked. Now I'm going to spread this sauce over the top of this fish. Now I'm going to bake this in my toaster oven for about 45 minutes. In a standard oven, it should only take 20 to 25. When I first set this fish in the oven, it goes on the middle rack for 20 minutes. After the first 25 minutes, I take it out and I transfer it to the bottom rack. Now I'm going to cook it for another 20 minutes. Okay, now this is after the first 40 minutes of cooking, and it's technically done at this point, but I'm going to do something a little bit extra with it. I'm going to sprinkle some freshly grated Parmesan cheese over the top of it. Now I'm going to put this under the broiler for about 5 or 10 minutes to melt that cheese. I'll put it on there for 10 minutes and check it in 5. Okay, 5 minutes was all it needed to melt this cheese. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of this smoky paprika over the top. I love smoky paprika. And while this is resting, I'm going to heat up some minute rice. I love this minute rice. It always comes out fluffy and tender. It's just perfect. I put maybe a tablespoon of water in one of these little cups, and it comes out perfect every time. All you need for this dish is plain white rice because it's really rich. Oh, here it is, y'all. Catfish Allison. And shout out to Evelyn for this dish. She's invented a lot of new catfish recipes, and she has made the Crown Restaurant famous. So if you're ever in Indianola, Mississippi, visit the Crown. B.B. King went there. Now I'm going to try this fish. It's delicious. First time I ever had baked catfish. It's pretty salty, so I was right to not add salt to this recipe. It does not need salt. The cheese actually makes this recipe really salty. If you want, you can add some lemon juice to it to brighten it up a little because it is pretty rich. This is actually one of the best fish dishes I've had. It's really good. I'm amazed at what you can do with catfish. I've left an Amazon link to Evelyn's cookbook in the description. I'm going to finish this catfish. Bye, y'all.